What up, people of the internet? Erica here today. I am coming to you with a little chat about some of my writing. So stay tuned. Look at these shelves. Aren't they neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the one who has all the books on these shelves? Adventures are told. How many adventures can one shelf hold? Looking around here you think, sure, I've got all the books. Okay, so I honestly am running out of things to talk about here. It's, what day is it? What's today's date? The 22nd, I do believe. And I'm kind of running out of video ideas. So I thought I would talk to you a little bit about this series that I have been working on for like over 15 years. Yeah. It's been at least that long. So this is basically the first two books in my Amulets of Destruction series, okay? 898 pages. So I guess book one is like 400 and some, if I remember correctly. Can't remember. I'm checking. Almost there. Come on. Where are you? Where is the end of this book? It's sad that I don't even remember. Oh, we're coming to the end of it. This is the last chapter. So there's 45 chapters. Right? Yeah. There's 45 chapters, and the first book is 497 pages long. So, this is basically about maybe you can hear me better this way, because I think I was just feeling like you were too far away. So, this is basically about a girl named Raziel. And she pretty much has an amazing life with her mom for like the first 12 years of her life. Her mom's name is Michaela. And in the very beginning of the book, basically her mom gets raped, and that's how she conceives Raziel. I'm not going to go into details about exactly who rapes her and all that. I see, this is why it's hard for me to like give book reviews and stuff, because I can never like gather my thoughts enough to talk about things. But the gist of it is, this is a supernatural series. There's vampires and werewolves and demons and angels and witches and fairies and some concoctions of things that I have come up with myself, like a mixture of different supernatural creatures, like No, I'm not going to tell you that because it's a spoiler. I was going to tell you what Raziel is, but that's a spoiler. You're not, because basically you're not going to find out until Raziel finds out, and she doesn't find out what she is until the third book. So, yeah. Anyway, so when she is about to turn 11, this huge tragedy happens, and she ends up bouncing from foster home to foster home. She endures a lot of abuse in many different ways, in all the ways that you can think of. Before she meets Christian, who he is a gym teacher at the Piketon High School, and he notices that she can run really fast and wanted her to be on the track team. And the foster father that she is living with at the time tells her no, but doesn't give her the reason why. So she's just basically on this journey of just slowly discovering things about herself that she can do, discovering friendships, losing people that she loves. She just goes through a lot of horrible shit. And a lot of it was kind of really hard for me to write, because when I write, I put a little bit of myself in each character, and the things that they have endured, I have endured myself to a certain aspect. Like, I was never adopted or anything. Like, I've never been in and out of foster homes, but I did endure a lot of abuse as a child. Like, my father was an alcoholic and abusive and stuff like that. But with her, she's never met her biological father. And he ends up being not a very good person, obviously, because he did rape her mom and that's how her mom was conceived. Her mom conceived her, but you'll find out later on who her biological father is. So it's not just about Raziel, though. The other main character is Brent. His birth name is actually Bartholomew, but he can't stand to go by that name. He says it's just way too old-fashioned, especially nowadays. So, and he's a vampire, and Michaela comes to him with this quest of protecting Raziel when Michaela is no longer in the picture. And so he's on this quest of finding these amulets and discovering who Raziel is and what her purpose is in this life, and not understanding why she has to go through all this abuse and violence and torture. He's just not understanding it, and not understanding why he can't save her when he wants to save her. Why can't he just save her before any of this shit goes down? But he has rules that he has to follow, and if he breaks them, it'll be the end of the world kind of situation. And so it's a lot. This series really packs a punch, for sure. So Raziel is the main female character, and then Brent is the main male character, but then there's Chris, who is Brent's best friend. And you'll find out later on in the series how they ended up meeting, and some of their stories, their backstories. Brent had went through a lot as a child as well. Basically most of the people that is involved in this group that come together later on in the series have been through some kind of trauma, some kind of like horrible trauma, and so they can relate to each other in that aspect. So I have put my heart and my soul and my blood and my tears into this series, and I'm honestly scared to try to get this published because I'm afraid that nobody's gonna like it. Because it's definitely different. It's not something that I have ever read anywhere yet. I don't even know how I came up with this series, honestly. I was just, I was in my early 20s, and I was just sitting there, and I just started thinking of just things just kept popping into my head, and then this story formed, and I have been basically obsessing over. I think about it all the time, and they say that writers think more about their stories than they do actually write, and that's true. Very, very true. Because I do think about it more than I write it. I'm still working on book 3. I have written the first 2 books. I have rewritten them at least half a dozen times before I finally figured out how I wanted to go. And now the first 2 books are definitely complete. I just need to type them out and find a publisher. But I finally finished them, the first 2 books, last year, and I can't remember exactly when I started the series. I just know I was in my early 20s when I started it, and I don't know. I'm obsessed. But anyway, so I think I'm only about 5 or 6 chapters into book 3, which is right here. Let's see, what chapter am I on? So there's chapter 3. Chapter 4. No, I'm 5 chapters in. Like, I barely started chapter 5. So, I really just need to buckle down and finish book 3. I think that's what I'm going to do next year. I just won't, I'm just going to try and balance reading and writing next year so that I can actually get this done. My hope is to have the whole trilogy finished before the end of the year next year. I know that was my goal this year, and I kind of slacked off on the writing again because I kind of only felt like reading, and there are times that I'm going to have that. I just want to read, especially if I'm getting into a specific book. Like, I just want to sit there and I want to read that until I finish it and not want to worry about anything else except finishing reading that book. But I really want to prioritize my writing. I really do. I think I first started writing when I was 10. And I started out by writing poetry and lyrics to songs. And it was an escape for me. That and music was a huge escape for me. Just to zone out and not worry about what's going on around me. And But we'll get into that some other time. Maybe I'll eventually tell my story. Maybe I'll eventually write my story. But right now my main concentration is Raziel's story. And this, I don't know, I really deeply love these characters as if they were real, we would totally be best friends. I honestly wish that Chris was definitely real, because he's just like, he would be like the perfect gay best friend. I really miss Dan. Dan was, I guess I would have to say that I put a little bit of Dan in Chris. And I miss him. I miss him deeply. It's hard to believe that he's been gone. I don't even remember how many years it's been, but back in 2004 is when he was murdered. But he's been gone a long time, but sometimes it feels like it's been just yesterday that I lost him. Because I'll get to thinking about him, and I'm really emotional right now because I found a picture of him. But but anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about this. So, just to give you a little bit of a taste, I'm going to read the first chapter of the first book to you. And then in the comments below, you can tell me what you think so far. In chapter 1, A Meeting of Destiny. It is March 20th, 1983, on a dark and cool night in Waverly, Ohio. There is a light breeze blowing and dogs barking in the distance. Brent sits in the empty Walnut Street Park staring up at the night sky. It appears all the stars are out, and the waxing crescent moon is shining down on him. He is sitting in the park alone at night because he loves stargazing. He also loves and cherishes his alone time. Plus, the waxing crescent moon is his favorite. He wishes that moon was out every night. When he was a child, he didn't care for the dark, but has grown accustomed to it. He suddenly hears footsteps behind him. He quickly turns around and comes face to face with a beautiful woman. "Ma'am, you really shouldn't sneak up on strangers like that," he warns in a soothing tone as he can muster. "I wish to speak to you in private, Bartholomew," she says in a soft-spoken tone as she takes a few more steps towards him. "How do you know my name?" Brent questions as he furrows his brows. Brent is uncertain how this woman came to know his birth name because no one has called him Bartholomew in years. He does find it rather intriguing that someone as beautiful as her wants to speak to a vampire like him. "I will reveal everything just as soon as you take me to your lair," she promises. Brent's frown deepens. "Please, Bartholomew, this is important," she adds when she notices his hesitation. "Do you even realize what I am?" he questions in a sarcastic tone as he folds his arms across his chest. "Of course I know what you are, Bartholomew. My father sent me to you because he knows you are perfect for this quest I want to present to you. Now please take me to your lair so we can discuss this privately." Her persistence intrigues him, so Brent has her follow him. They walk behind the restroom and stop in front of a large tree. The tree is massive in stature in both width and height, and even escalates the height of the basketball court behind it. It stands out for it's the only tree in the park. Brent pulls down a low limb, and a door that wasn't noticeable before opens. "Please try to ignore the mess," Brent states before he enters the tree. Normally he is quite the gentleman and allows the woman to enter first, but doesn't want to risk the others scaring her off. "Stay close," he instructs. As they are making their way down the stairs, they are walking through a passage that looks like a long hallway. There is vines hanging down, a sweet smell of decay, and rat bones on the stairs. There is even dry blood all around. Brent can sense she has the urge to run away. He can smell her fear. When he opens the door, there is a long corridor of doors on each side that leads to separate rooms. When she walks through the door, the surroundings absolutely mortify her. The scene looks like it came straight out of a horror movie. There is blood and guts all over the walls, doors, ceiling, and floor. There is a skeleton with decaying skin still on it, half-eaten rats and body parts. In the far corner of the corridor, there appears to be a human transitioning into a vampire. The corridor smells of rotting flesh. A terrible feeling of despair washes over her as she is viewing the chaos. "Don't bother me right now, Jake," Brent says to his best friend as he approaches. Brent watches as Jake runs a hand through his light brown hair, glares at him with his goldish brown eyes, sighs in frustration, and walks away. "We can go sit in the living room. There's rarely anyone in there, so we won't be disturbed," Brent explains as he reaches out and grabs the doorknob on a plain wooden door. Brent opens the door and allows her to enter first. The room is empty as he predicted. The living room is his favorite due to the fact he gets a lot of time to himself. When she steps into the room, she is taken aback by the beautiful room that is contrasting to the nightmarish corridor. There is a black leather chair with matching couch. To the immediate right, a television sitting on a small table on the left wall, and a line of bookshelves filled with movies on the back wall. A black bear rug is spread across the floor between the coffee table and television. Brent watches the mysterious woman as she walks over to the couch and takes his seat. She takes the bag off her shoulders she has been carrying and sets it on the table. She is even more beautiful in the light. She has light brown curly hair that lays just past her shoulders. She has a curvy figure and appears to stand about 5'6". "What is this important matter you wish to discuss with me?" he asks curiously. "Have a seat," she instructs as she motions towards the chair. Brent complies. "Who are you?" he questions. "My name is Michaela. My father sent me here seeking protection from you for my child," she explains. "My unborn child," she adds matter-of-factly. Brent gives her a look of confusion. "I don't understand." "Please don't interrupt me, Bartholomew. I am in the process of explaining everything to you, so please, no more interruptions," she says in a calm but firm tone. "Please call me Brent." Bartholomew is your birth name, yes?" she questions. "Yes, it is," he replies honestly. "I call people by their birth name. Now, no more interruptions," she says in a tone of frustration. "Sorry," he replies in an apologetic tone. He doesn't like to be called by his first name, but guesses he should deal with it. "In exactly 3 days, I'm going to be raped by someone whose name I cannot reveal at this time. In 9 months after conception, I will give birth to a daughter whom I'm to name Raziel," she says, and pauses for a moment. Brent runs a hand through his hair and sits back in the chair. Michaela reaches into the bag, pulls out a thick notebook, and sets it on the table. "Everything you need to know about Raziel is in this book. It explains everything in full detail," Michaela says as she caresses the top of the book with the tips of her fingers. The front and back of the book appears to be made of cherry wood. Raziel's name is carved into the front of it with angel wings carved above it. It is beautiful. "For the first 12 years of her life, Raziel will be safe with me. A few days after her 12th birthday, my human form will perish. Once that happens, I will no longer be of human flesh and must return from whence I came. That's when things will take a turn for the worse for Raziel. Listen to me very carefully because this next part is crucial. You must sit back and let her endure the things she'll encounter until she is 19. If you disobey these orders and save her sooner, it will destroy everything, and every living thing on the planet will perish," she explains in a firm tone. "None of that makes any sense. You want me to protect her but have to sit back and let her endure possible pure hell for 7 years? What kind of fucked up shit is that? Watch that tone and that foul language around me. I won't stand for it," she says in a firm tone as she gives him a stern look. "I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sense of all of this stuff." "I know it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to. There's rules, Bartholomew, and we have to follow them whether we want to or not." "Where are these rules?" In this book. Everything you need to know is in this book, she states as she touches the book again. Michaela reaches into the bag and pulls out a small box, which is also made of cherry wood and has Raziel's name carved into it with angel wings carved above her name. The box also has a lock on it. She gently places it next to the book and pulls a chain up over her head, revealing a key. You are to wear this key around your neck until the time comes to give it to Raziel, and no sooner. The box and the book need to be stored in a safe place, but not together. The book and the box should never touch, or they will disintegrate. When that happens, your quest ends and the earth will be destroyed. She pauses for a moment and glances up at him through her eyelashes. Brent is silently wondering why the box and the book would disintegrate if they touch each other. The box is not to be opened by anyone but Raziel. I repeat, the box is not to be opened by anyone but Raziel. Do I make myself clear, Bartholomew? Yes, ma'am. Michaela hands him the key and he places it around his neck. Like I said before, everything you need to know is in the book. Word for word, rule for rule, obey it all, Bartholomew. When it comes to the book, there are only 4 pairs of eyes that can view the contents of it. My eyes, your eyes, Chris's eyes, and Raziel's eyes. She continues speaking in a firm tone. After Raziel views the contents of the boxes, she can share it only with you if she so chooses. Never ever force Raziel to do anything she doesn't want to do. As you go on this journey, you will eventually learn your true place in Raziel's life. I can't tell you what that is, and neither can the book. You have to discover it on your own. She pauses and looks at him. Brent leans forward, laces his fingers together, and looks at her. He can't believe this is happening. All these years, he thought his purpose in this life is to just exist and be. After listening to what Michaela has to say, he's discovering his purpose in this world is so much greater. What are you? He questions as he sits up straight and peers into her eyes. I'm an angel, of course. She replies nonchalantly as if Brent is supposed to already know that. An angel. Brent questions with an expression of confusion on his face. He's never believed in angels before. I know you don't believe in us, Bartholomew. The room falls silent as Brent lets out this The room falls silent as Brent lets all this information sink in. He's never been taught about angels, demons, or even God. Does all this really exist, or is he just dreaming right now? There's 4 things you must protect with your life, Bartholomew. There's the key, the box, the book, and the most important of them all is Raziel. If you succeed in your quest, you will be rewarded greatly. If you fail, you will be doomed to walk the earth alone for all eternity. Are you ready to take on this quest which I have just presented to you? The room falls silent for quite some time as he thinks about everything Michaela has just told him. Should he take on this quest? If he refuses, will the earth automatically be destroyed? Who is this Raziel, and why is she so important? Can one person really have that much power to keep the earth spinning? Why do you hesitate, Bartholomew? She questions in a tone of concern. Maybe he has no reason to hesitate. Maybe there is a chance things like this do exist. After all, he's a vampire and he exists. Do you accept the quest or not? Yes, of course, he replies without further delay. Read, study, and memorize that book from cover to cover, she says as she stands. Farewell, Bartholomew, she adds and extends her left hand. Britt quickly stands and shakes her hand. How can I contact you if I need to? He questions as she lets go of his hand. I will contact you, she replies abruptly. What if I had said no? He asks as she turns to walk away. Michaela stops and turns to face him. We would be dead, she replies in a serious tone, turns around and walks away. Britt watches her leave. Once she is completely out of sight, he sits on the couch and thinks about what just happened. He can't believe he just accepted a quest without any proof that Michaela really is who she says she is. Why didn't he tell her to prove it? Why did he automatically trust her? So that was chapter 1. Definitely let me know what you think. If you find it interesting enough that you want to continue. I'm excited for it. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please click that please click that subscribe button and click that little bell notification to be notified when I post. All of my links are down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later. I've got romance and nonfiction, a many. I've got horror and dystopian galore. You want fantasy? I've got plenty. But who cares? No big deal. I want